How's it going, guys? Topic for today's video, my top 10 tips and tricks for NoFap. So I just did a video a few days ago talking about the January NoFap challenge. So you don't have to wait for January. You can do it today. You don't have to make it a special date or anything like that. But these are my top 10 tips and tricks. So right now, I'm 3 weeks clean, so 21 days without jerking off. And previously, I've done a 40-day experiment as well. So these are just some of the tips and tricks that I've used, as well as some that I've gained from other people, but I haven't really used in my life, but they might be applicable in your life. So my first tip is to restrict the areas in which you actually use mobile devices that you use to jerk off to porn. So for example, say you like to jerk off to porn when you're laying in bed. And you watch porn on your smartphone, or you watch it on your tablet or your laptop or something like that. Make a rule basically saying, you know what, anytime I'm in bed, I can't have my smartphone or my laptop or my tablet with me. Just go ahead, put that stuff in another room or something like that. Don't bring it in the room with you, because then it's gonna be much easier for you to want to jerk off to porn. Now, my second tip is, say you do it on a desktop computer, and so it's not something that's going to be easily moved around. And you typically do it maybe when somebody isn't home, right? So you're just kind of floating around on the internet. You're just kind of doing whatever, and nobody's home. So you're just like, all right, now's a good time to fire one off, right? What I would do is I would download some internet blocking software. So I know for the Mac specifically, there's a program called Self-Control, which allows you to either block your internet completely, or you can block specific websites as well. So if you just want to block like YouPorn and Pornhub and all the ones that most people use, right? You can do so very easily. And then there's also software that's called Freedom, which is for the Mac and for the PC, which you can just block your internet completely. So say typically maybe from the hours of like 2 or 4 in the afternoon when nobody's at your house, and you're just like, all right, now's a good time to jerk off. Basically, all you have to do is have the self-control just to block the internet. It takes 5 seconds to do, and then you're not going to be tempted because you're just not going to have the internet connection to be able to do it. Now, my third tip is, say if you just have like a really, really big problem, is you almost kind of want to disconnect your internet completely. And I've done this experiment before. I went 21 days of no home internet. And what I did was I only used the internet in public places. So if you go to a coffee shop or if you go to the local library, typically most of them have Wi-Fi now. So you can just go in and use free Wi-Fi, and you can do everything that you need to do on the internet. And you're not going to really be tempted to jerk off because you're in a public place and that might get you arrested. So something else to consider is, which I would consider another tip, is, say if you are still at home, is to make conscious use of your internet time. So actually write down the things that you want to do. So if you want to watch YouTube for half an hour, you want to watch some videos, that's great. Write it down, like YouTube 30 minutes. Check my email 5 minutes or whatever, right? Say you have to work on an assignment for school. Write it down, like I'm going to work on this assignment on the internet for an hour. And then those times that you're not on, you could actually use an internet blocking software so that you're not going to be tempted to go back on. So a lot of these tips and tricks kind of work together, but that's a really good one as well. So my next tip would be to join an online support community. So there's lots of communities on the internet. There's different forums and different kind of Reddit forums as well that you can join up. And what's great about that is that you can talk and kind of express things with other people. You can kind of see where people are succeeding, where people are failing, and you can get a lot of tips and tricks that way as well. And so you can hear what has worked for other people and maybe incorporate that as well. Like I remember when I first went vegan, like I joined all the Facebook groups, I joined all the online communities, and I've been vegan for like 4 years. So it's much the same way as that you want to kind of join along with other people on the internet, which is an easy way to kind of get access to people in an anonymous way, so that you can do this NoFap challenge and so that you can get nice and clean. Now, my next tip is to record your streak. So I know exactly how many days I've been clean because I use an app, an iPhone app. It's also for the Android. It's called Lift, or I believe they just changed their name to Coach.me, and this allows you to basically track different habits in your life. Like a lot of people use it for maybe they want to exercise more, but there's also a specific habit. If you just type in NoFap for the habit, you can actually join in. You can ask questions, but most importantly, you can track how many days you've gone for. And what's really nice about that is that you can set little goals for yourself. Say you want to set a 3-day goal of going NoFap. Set something that's going to be achievable for you. So if you think the idea of going 90 days NoFap is just crazy, right? Just set a goal of just maybe today I want to go NoFap. I've talked to guys who have difficulties just going 1 day without fapping. Now myself personally, since I've gone 40 days without fapping, I know I can do that again. So for me, setting a goal of say like 60 days is something that is achievable for me. It's a bit of a stretch, but I'm definitely able to do it. Next thing that would be really helpful for a lot of people is to find a support partner. So you can find a support partner, either a friend in real life, or you can find somebody on an online support community. And just somebody that you can talk with about it and you kind of have this mutual interest. And that's really nice because you do have that kind of accountability with somebody else in your life. So you don't really want to let that other person down and you don't want to lie to that person. So you're going to be much more likely to not want to fap. Now, something else that I've heard is a guy that I was talking with who's really having troubles with it was he made a bet with his partner, with one of his friends, saying that if he fapped, that he would pay him like $20. So there was that monetary factor as well. So he didn't want to give up $20. And so that helped him stay clean. I think he did end up fapping and paying the $20. But that's just another kind of little thing that you can do as well. So the next thing that I'd recommend is to start a meditation practice. So meditation allows you to become much more aware of your own thoughts and your own feelings in your body. So when you get an urge to fap to porn, you're much more aware of it. And that awareness is really important because when you have that awareness, you can make a much better decision about what's going on. So like say you get really angry, right? And then you notice that you're angry. You're like, why am I so angry, right? So there's a self actually being aware of kind of like what's going on in your body. And that's really what meditation kind of teaches you to do. It teaches you to really become aware of what's going on. So when you're meditating, typically what happens is you're aware of thoughts that are coming up and you realize, oh my God, I'm thinking. And then maybe you focus back on a mantra or something like that. So meditation practice, really, really key. Another thing that is really important for guys is that you want to start taking care of the other aspects of your life. So you want to focus on eating a better diet. You want to focus on maybe getting some exercise. You want to focus on maybe reading new books. So typically what happens when guys fap is that they are feeling sad, they're feeling angry, they're feeling some type of negative emotion. And in order to get rid of that emotion, what they do is they jerk off to porn because in that moment, it feels a lot better, but over the long term, they tend to not feel so good. So instead of focusing on that momentary gratification, start to focus on taking care of the other aspects of your lives. When you start to take care of the other aspects of your life, you start to just naturally feel better. So I recommend eating a high carbohydrate plant-based diet. Like I've been eating it for close to 4 years now, and I just feel a lot better in my body. You know, I meditate, I visualize, I exercise consistently, and so I just feel a lot better in my body. And that can be something that's really, really important if you want to do a NoFap challenge. All right, my last and final tip, I don't know if it's 9 or 10, but we'll just call it 10, is to be kind to yourself. So if you fudge up and you jerk off to porn, it's not the end of the world. The worst thing that you can do is to be hard on yourself. Just be like, I messed up, and take it as a learning experience. Don't beat yourself up for it. Just be like, all right, well, I did this. Maybe tomorrow I can do something a little bit differently. And by doing that different action tomorrow, maybe I'll still mess up tomorrow, but maybe I'll learn something again, or maybe I'll succeed. So take each kind of failure as like a stepping stone to becoming closer to being completely clean. All right, guys, I hope those tips have helped. If you have any more tips or tricks that have helped you, go a long time without fapping, definitely leave them in the box below because I'm sure a lot of people will be reading them and they'll definitely appreciate any advice, any tips, any tricks that you can give them. Awesome. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Peace out.